All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another Doom of Fools video. We got one of the best, you know, we got Mr. Comedian. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Anytime, brother, anytime. So, last time we had him on, it was literally the day of the bans.
Yep.
The
Shit,
world
that's
caught on
right.
fire.
Yeah,
Literally the day. I was literally like, Ian, if you don't want to do it, I understand. And you're like, we'll
yeah,
do it. Let's just not talk about it because da 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 da. Da. And I'm like, yeah, you're
yeah.
cool. 10 minutes in, we're just like, all right, man, there's an elephant in the room. Our boy Dockside just got shot in the back of the
Yeah.
head.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So
Oh,
how you
yeah.
doing, man? You're about to get married. How you feeling? Everything good?
Oh, yeah, I'm ecstatic.
Good.
Yeah.
I definitely, if I had any advice, it would just like soak it all in.
Oh, yeah,
Because you're going
for
to wake
sure.
up and be like, we're fucking married? Like, what the fuck
Mhm,
just happened?
mhm. Oh, yeah, no, literally, my plan is to, literally check my phone to make sure that people arrived appropriately, and
Right,
then if
right.
anything for work popped up, I'm immediately moving it to archive and then just not even thinking
Yeah.
about it. Yeah,
Turn your
just
phone
gonna
off.
enjoy the
Yeah.
throw it in the way. As soon as everyone's
Yeah.
in the Airbnb, boom, phone's gone.
Good. Good. That's awesome. I'm so excited
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
So let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
So we got awesome unbannings, which for me, I wish they banned a couple cards, but it's okay. So as of April 22nd, they unbanned Gifts Ungiven, Sway the
Mhm,
Stars, Braids Cabal Minion,
yep,
Coalition Victory, and Panoptic Mirror. Before
mhm,
we get into them individually, so it's been about a week. So kind of
yeah,
how do you feel about the unbannings? And how do you feel about what they were talking about? They're not going to ban the rest of the year. Da 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 da.
yeah,
How do you kind of like fit your like brain around it? Because I personally like it.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, so for me, I approach every band season, every unbanned season with a, like, I can always appeal to people on the CFP, I can always appeal to people at Wizards, et cetera, back when it was the RC, I would always keep that
Mhm.
mentality too, right? And, like, I'm always, of the mind that, like, my voice could be heard in these conversations, right?
Yeah.
But when decisions are made, it's no longer in my hands, right? And or, basically,
Mhm.
like, they have the ability to shape these things, right? And so I always tend to go into it, back when the September bans happened, one of my advice that I was giving, like, dozens of people was always just like, give it a day, let it sink in, like, take a minute, like, maybe the world isn't
Yeah.
on fire, but et cetera, et cetera. And those were crazy, right? Those were crazy, crazy bans and unbans. And I
Yeah.
was talking with CDH players over the past couple months leading up to this unban cycle, and they were all like, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do this, they're going to do this. And it was just like, it was raw emotion. And that's okay. Like, people are allowed to feel their
Yeah.
fucking feelings, right? But, like,
Mhm.
it was just that. It was unfiltered emotion. It wasn't really, like, levels of thought, like, applied to it. Like, I had to, like, convince a lot of people that I'm pretty sure Mana Crypt ruins the format if it comes back. Sadly enough, as someone who, like, one of my, like, jewels of my collection was my white border Mana
I'm not
Crypt.
listening. Yeah. I
Yeah,
fucking love
yeah,
that
but, like,
card. Yeah.
yeah, no, and legitimately, I know people love it. I know it's a great card. I also
Mhm.
know how bad the format would be if we get it back too, right? So my hope with this unban cycle was kind of exactly what happened, which was we're gonna get some safe unbans, maybe a cool card or two, and then just not go buck wild. And they
Yeah.
didn't, and that's fine. And I'm super okay with that because
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the metagame. I know people are, and
Mhm.
and I'll throw this out here while we're sort of on the platform.
Mhm.
I know people are complaining about draws and shit like that right now.
Mhm.
I think that there's already solutions being done. Like, part of a competitive metagame is that there will always be an ebb and a flow. And every time you assume that something is deterministic, that it is the way it works, and then that some one way of playing is going to be the pattern of play, you're probably incorrect. And we're already seeing that. And which makes me so happy because I knew this was coming, right? So people who
Mhm.
are like, "Oh, well, Ristic has to be banned or the formats on, X, Y, or Z thing," it's all hyperbole.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it's just the play patterns, right?
Yeah,
I agree with Ristic Study. I would definitely like to see a band, but it
yeah,
wasn't as oppressive as Dockside.
yeah,
Like, I don't
yeah.
think we realized how busted Dockside was while we were living it.
Oh
And then
yeah.
a month later after Dockside, I was just like, holy shit, like this deck is
Mhm.
unplayable without Dockside. And you
Oh yeah.
take that shit for granted. Like I
Mhm.
hard for the Boil 2, I grinded Rock's High. I'm like, bands didn't affect Rock's High, I'm good. The bands definitely affected Rock's High. And
Oh
I,
yeah.
I didn't know that until 20 games of playing it. Like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a different meta. So when
It's
you
a whole
said
different game. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, when you said, "Oh, give it a day," I would say probably a good month for the dust to
Yeah,
settle
so true.
from
Yeah.
that was so crazy. But this, what I like going forward is this was like a we had okay. It's going to be in April.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not with the other bands. It's going to be April
Yep.
22nd. Now we have an idea. Okay, and
Yeah.
then Gavin, I tell everybody, read the article, read about the
Yeah.
brackets. Now
Please.
it's like, now we have an idea and a plan. Before
Yeah.
we were the redheaded stepchild. We weren't
Mhm.
even allowed in the house. We were like, oh
Yeah.
my God, CDH. And now the
Yeah.
tournaments. And now
Yeah.
Gavin's like, hey guys, we see you. We're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going to do any bands this year. We're going to do it
Yeah.
next year. And we're going to try to da 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 da. I feel, and how they explained every card, that
Yeah.
was like mind
It was
blowing
great.
to me.
Yeah.
Hey guys, these cards we're not touching. This
Yeah.
because of that. This because of this. This because of this. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm actually a part of Wizards.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. A level of transparency that we've always asked for,
oh
right?
my
Like,
God.
agreed.
As
Yeah.
a tournament CDH player, I couldn't be
Mhm.
any more happy. We got
Yeah.
3 irrelevant cards for casual. We got a niche
Yeah.
card, and we have
Yeah.
a gifts ungiven that is a staple to
Yeah.
maybe 5 decks, and
Yeah.
then opens up a couple archetypes. Like, how could
Yeah.
we not want that? That's the
Yeah.
best outcome we could ask for, right? For
Yeah.
me personally.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the same camp. I'm super pro unban cycle this time around, right? I think it worked really well. I think the only card that and by the way got a huge write up was Jewel Lotus, right? Like where I think it was very eloquently spoken. It
Yeah,
wasn't this card staying off forever. It was just we don't think this is the right time, but it's one of the ones that is
that'll
like
be the
very clearly
next.
in the article. They're like this is the most likely to
This
ever
is the
come back.
next one. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, for sure. But I
right.
was
And
okay with not
yeah,
unbanning it because the craziness.
I agree.
Like
I agree.
like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't just, oh, sorry, we fucked up. Here we go. Let's unban Drew Lotus.
Right, and I think
Like,
that's why I
yeah.
think I like it so much as a middle ground because you're
Mhm.
saying like, look, if any of them are coming back, it's this guy. We're gonna take our time because y'all kind of made asses of yourself,
Right.
if we're being honest.
But how Gavin was like, hey,
Yeah.
we understand what's going on.
Mhm.
We didn't do it because of
Yeah.
this, but we're thinking about it. So now
Yeah.
we're just like, awesome, great. I couldn't agree anymore. Like,
Yeah.
well, Jew Lotus is like one of those cards for Commander. It gets people into Commander. You want to play the
Yeah.
big dumb beaters, da 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 da
Yeah.
da. Like,
Yeah.
we can all agree Nadu, Mana Crypt, and Dockside were inherently broken at all
Yeah,
levels.
well, of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I played CDH4 Mana Crypt, but I understand now playing without it, it was inherently broken. Jew
Mhm.
Lotus is broken in a way, but it didn't make for. So I definitely
Yeah.
think for the unbannings, it did exactly what I thought it was going to be. Like,
Yeah.
it reached my expectation. I knew I wasn't going to be like, oh my God, they unbanned Black Lotus. Like, I knew
Yeah,
that wasn't going to happen, right?
yeah.
The dream,
Yeah.
right? But
I'm good. I am so good on that.
I am all good. No way.
Yeah, the free heuristic study turn 1 that also allows you to do other stuff with your mana. I think I'm most all
They
set.
yeah, they have formats for that, right? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have. You want to play unbanned commander, go ahead. It's not that fun, I promise you.
No, I'll never forget. They did one of the top tick events like last year. They did a side event where they just did no ban list, and I'll never forget my friend walking up to me after 5 rounds of Swiss and said, "I never took a game action."
It's turn order, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
all right. Who got the play? Who got second? Who got a
Because you
counter
present,
spell?
you add a bunch of problems to the format. You don't add a bunch of answers, right? Like,
Right,
yeah,
right. The time vault, the
yeah.
manifold key, time vault,
Moxen, Black
win,
Lotus,
yeah.
yeah,
It sounds
Tinker.
like a good idea. I even did the June event last year, the partner
Mhm.
event. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dude, brewing for that event was so much fun. I brought Atali Gairuda, right? I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
fucking the jank master. Everyone's playing
Hell yeah.
Ragavan and Kinnan and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. That was the most boring tournament I've ever played in my
Oh
life.
no.
I was so bored. People were
Yeah.
like, they built their deck, but they didn't realize everybody else were having decks like this. So it was
Mhm.
like 1 to 3 players just like spiking the whole tournament and everyone else just
Sure.
wasn't having fun. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the idea of the partner sounds good, but
Yeah.
actually playing the format, like it wasn't fun at all. Not even
Yeah,
a
I
little
will
bit.
say I do think like in my opinion, I think the Pride format is one of the best side events you could have at any CDH tournament.
Yeah,
I
for
think that
sure.
is a really good, cool thing that people could show up and play, and I think it would be really fun. I will say I've seen that before too, but I've also seen some people cook. Like I
Yeah.
one of my favorite decks I brewed for that format was Cutzel Winota. So much fun.
Oh,
Like
cool.
it's a
Yeah.
crazy ass deck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really interesting stuff.
But
that
I
can
just
come
saw a lot of like Rog side, but instead of Silas, it's Stallion. Like,
Yeah, sure.
oh man,
Yeah.
woo! Instead of Urza, they just added Padim as the partner of Urza. I'm just
Yeah,
like, come on, guys! Like, we're doing this for fun. Like, we're
no,
trying
I
to.
agree.
I'm playing a Tully got Rudin. I'm not getting a turn
Yeah.
2. Like,
Yeah.
like I want to do the thing so bad, but everyone's like, no, I'm gonna blah blah blah. Ken and
Yeah.
Ragavan. You're original. There's 40
Yeah.
of those, right?
Yeah, I think Atali Sakashima was another one that I really enjoyed. That was
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. See, it sounds fun, and then you start to. I agree. Like for a small side tournament, it'd be cool. But I
Yeah.
was so hyped for this. I'm like, this is
Mhm.
what I live for. I went
Yeah,
0 and 4, and I was like, anyone trying to play some CDH games? This format
yeah,
blows.
yeah.
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 So that's awesome. So, anyways, let's get into it. Again, you touched on this a little bit
Mhm.
on your Mind Sculptors podcast.
Yeah.
I really liked when you said, I think everybody needs to realize this is a commander format first,
Yeah.
and then we are a subset of that.
Yeah.
And if you look at it through that lens, which you're right, if you look at it through that lens, these are perfect unbans.
Mhm.
Coalition Victory. What's the other one? The 10 mana Sway of the Stars
Yeah.
and Braids. Like, if that doesn't tell you they are for commander, like
Mhm.
casual,
Yeah.
like we're probably not. Maybe Braids is maybe someone's gonna try Braids as the commander. Maybe
I
it'd
think
be
someone
cool.
will try it, whether it'll be good or
Yeah,
not.
it's
Like,
not better than Crick, right?
yeah.
I was even
Yeah.
thinking in the 99, and I'm just like, I couldn't think of a deck. But that's literally as a I have a casual deck, and I think those cards are really cool. Like
Mhm.
when people are like, "Oh, let's play a casual game," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Why are we playing Braids in a casual pod? There's no
Yeah.
time limit. We're all
Yeah.
hanging out. No one wants to play a 3, 4, 5 hour game in any format." Right? So when you have cards, the restarts like Sway the Stars or the Coalition Victories, like that makes it okay, cool. It's turn
Mhm.
11 and I
Yeah.
win because I did the thing. You didn't remove my Ur Dragon. Cool. Like
Right.
I think that's awesome. Like my son's he's 12 and he's excited
Mhm.
for Coalition Victory and his 5-color cat deck. Like
Hell yeah.
he you
That's
know what I
awesome.
mean?
Yeah,
He doesn't
yeah.
understand everything, and he's just like 8 mana. If I control my commander, and if I do my land thing, then I can
Yeah.
win turn 6, turn 7, and he's stoked. And
Great.
I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what they wanted. That's exactly
Yeah.
what they go for. And kudos to Gavin and them.
Mhm.
I think that was a great idea.
Yeah.
So Sway the Stars 2. Stop me if I'm wrong. None of these are going to see CDH, right?
I think the closest one is Panoptic Mirror, and even then, it's probably not.
Okay, well we can talk about it a little bit.
To be clear, outside of gifts, we're obviously not talking about gifts right
Yeah, we're
now.
gonna talk about
Yeah,
gifts later. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm talking about Coalition and Sway right now.
Mhm.
I can't think of any, even a fringe CDH commander. I can't think of any, but
Yeah.
maybe a crazy, like, I've even seen a 5-color high power Ur Dragon deck, like something like that. Say a 5-color Tiamat deck that just throws
Yeah.
Coalition in just because turn 5, turn 6, they can accidentally
Sure.
win. Maybe, right? It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if there's like a 5-color commander that's like, oh, you can cast a spell for free thing,
Yeah.
maybe that gets printed sometime. Shrug.
Yeah. Chromox would be great with this card.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get my 5-color
Now,
Chromox.
now we're thinking.
Right. And this way the stars, what does this guy do again? Each player shuffles.
It's
Okay. Yeah.
such a fair card. It's like, yeah,
Why were these even banned?
because it was 2006 or whenever, like different times were different times,
2000, yeah, 7. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Carry on.
Yeah. Like,
Cool. I even have a mono blue Thada deck that like just has a bunch of mana accidentally, and
yeah.
I'm never touching this card.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. I
Like,
think the only time you ever played is like I think like Jorah the Gitu was a very popular like what we would call bracket 4 deck way back in the day, right?
Mhm.
Back when that was a thing. And so like you'd put a giant Eldrazi on suspend after the Sway the Stars, and everyone's like, oh no, we don't have any lands, and now there's an Eldrazi on the field. And it's like, okay, sure. Like, yeah, you got us. That took 6 turns to set up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And then Braids, like you said, we're probably might see it, but tournament play.
yeah. Like I might try and cook up a braids list because it's a good meme, right? Like
Because you're you. Yeah.
yeah,
Fuck.
exactly. But like, yeah, I'm not expecting it to do anything.
Yeah. Since I got you on real quick,
Yeah, please.
I was explaining to these guys, can we kind of explain the difference of like casual CDH at the LGS and at the kitchen table with friends,
Mhm.
and then tournament CDH. I feel
Sure.
like that's a whole different format, and you are the perfect person to talk about. So with
Yeah.
braids, right? If I'm not gonna hurt someone's feelings when they come up to me, hey, can you build me a CDH braids list? And it's like, all right, man, don't take this to tournaments, but I can make any commander CEDH, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you think is the most, I don't know how to like explain it to people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it's just you're playing around a specific metagame, right? Like
yeah.
it is really, and this is where like maybe the bracket system doesn't explain it super well, right?
Mm,
Like you can have a bracket 4 deck that's not even going to hang with like a casual CEDH deck, right?
mm,
But I think the entire point is like you when you look at tournament EDH, you really have to ask yourself like if I bring a deck to the tournament, right? This
mm,
it isn't about maximizing the commander's potential to win in the tournament. It is period, right? It's about
right.
winning in that event. It is about specifically tackling a metagame, trying to be able to win in a tournament setting, right? It's different when you're playing at the kitchen table. You know, you can argue that many of those games are education first, right? Like those are games in
Mm,
which people are trying to teach and trying to basically rise the tides of all the players, right? There's money
mm,
on the line, there is incentive, right? If
mm,
I ask someone after a game in a casual setting, I would love to sit down for 20 minutes and talk with people about, how the game goes. Now, to be clear, I'm going to do this no matter what setting it is because I love teaching this format. Um,
mm,
so, even in a tournament setting, if someone's like, "Hey, can we talk for the next 20 minutes about the course of the game and where things may or went correct or went wrong?" I'm still
yeah.
going to do that,
Oh,
right?
we've
But
done that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's something you
Yeah.
can definitely do and download and all that kind of stuff, right? But in a tournament
Mm,
setting, it's different, right? There's prizes on the line.
mm,
Every single thing counts, right? You're going to shark people for rules interactions. Like all of those things are a part of the environment, right? Because it
right.
is a tournament for prizing, right? Like there are
Mm-hmm.
things to be gained and things to be lost, and that's something to really keep in mind.
Yeah, yeah, and I always tell some people this story. The one game I played with you in the redemption tournament in
Mhm.
Georgia, it was like, "Hey, man, I'm a patron. Nice to meet you. We got to get a picture later." Blah blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah 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 blah. Okay, pre-games, and it was like, "Oh shit!" Like another Ian came out, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And then I finally got the game on Tevish Crom, and you're like, "Thanks for playing, man.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah,
Lou at?
yeah,
Let's take a picture." And I'm like, "Who are you?" And it's just that I learned
yeah.
that from you. I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like I got it. Like, hey, how you guys doing? And I'm doing
Yeah, yeah.
pre-games and they're talking about their grandmas, and I'm just like, I'm about to smoke these kids turn 3, but they don't even know it. Yeah, man. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing,
Responses.
right? Like, I'll still have a good time, still laugh, still enjoy ourselves, right? But at the end of the day, like, if someone's doing something
We're
crazy,
here.
right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no take backsies, right? If there's something on the
Yeah.
stack that, well, I mean, technically speaking, there's a protected take backsies in the rules of multiplayer Magic, but
Yeah.
within reason, right? There's no like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, let me do that over again type of
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, just because you're my patron, I'm not letting you take that shit back. I'll play it for $100. Get out of here.
Yeah, 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 exactly, right.
But like you learn
Yeah,
that way, right? Like
yeah,
the biggest thing for me getting into tournament CDH was my
mhm,
triggers. I
yeah,
missed every
oh yeah,
Ristic Study trigger ever. You name it, anything like, oh, the City of Traders trigger or this
yeah,
trigger or my Southern Tide trigger. And then playing tournament CDH,
yeah,
dude, I can't remember last time I missed a trigger. Like you're on it. You're in the game. You're
yeah,
not playing on your phone. You don't care what's going
yeah,
on over here. I don't miss any
yeah,
triggers. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like,
yeah.
I,
I mean, even I know you said like a lot of folks are jumping into the first tournaments when they watch this stuff, right? Like something to keep in mind too, right? Like classic scenario, you're in LGS, right? You're playing with your friends. One of the players gets eliminated because they were getting too frisky and someone croms them to death, right? Whatever.
mhm.
Uh, that player in a tournament setting has to shut up. Any comment they make over the course of the game, that's technically outside assistance. They can get disqualified from the entire tournament, right?
Mm.
When you're playing casually with your friends and like y'all are still playing the game together, and you're like, "Oh man, you took me out. All right, anyone, great game, guys. Oh, you're letting them get away with this? Ah ha ha!" Right? All
Yeah,
the
yeah.
jokes are able to fly. If they make any comment on the game during the
It's
tournament
over.
setting, they could literally be removed from the entire event. You know,
Or
like
you could get removed because they told you something on accident.
Uh, no, no, you can't get outside assistance yourself,
No, but I'm
because that would be
saying
kind of psychotic, right? Like
no,
if
I
someone
mean
was
like
a
if they're like behind this guy and if
yeah,
they ever accidentally tell you what's in their hand, but they didn't mean to, like you could get in trouble for that too, right?
no, no, if someone like
Like
that's great
collusion,
'cause
no?
No, because what did you do in that scenario that puts you at fault, right? If someone walks behind someone else, goes like, "Oh, hey, nice ad nos in hand," that's not your fault. That's them doing the thing,
Yeah, but what
right?
if that's your friend? Then people are gonna be like, "What the fuck, man? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it sucks socially for sure, but like,
Yeah, I
it's
guess if it
not like,
happens once,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
whatever. It's like, all right,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
all tournament, y'all been doing this. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I got you for sure. But
yeah,
I did notice. So like on some Saturdays, I try to get these guys to learn. I give decks to and we play or whatever. I did
yeah,
notice that after the game, like another guy will come over and he'll show him his hand, and I'm like, that tells me everything. That tells me he has interaction. That tells me
yeah.
blah 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 blah. Tournaments, you cannot do that. If you see me
Mhm.
playing and you know me, you sit and you watch, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I feel
And
like
it's also like, yeah, definitely got to be respectful of the players, right? Things, all that kind of stuff. I mean, the fact that there's a timer on the clock is a whole thing on its own too, right? Like that's
yeah.
just a major difference
Hmm.
between a lot of these games. Is that level of hey, we got 80 minutes.
Yeah, and you always forget. I forget sometimes, and you're just like,
Yeah,
oh shit, because like you get in a crazy stack war, and then everything's
yeah,
chilling, and then they put something
hmm
on the stack, and you're just like, oh yeah,
yeah,
shit, there's 20 minutes left. Yeah,
yeah.
I
And
got you.
now we have a hard 20 on turn zero. I don't know if you've heard about the update.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, the new addendum to the MSTRA IPGA is that turn zero has a 20-minute maximum now.
Mm.
So stack clears at 20 minutes. It is what it is, right? So if turn zero takes longer than 20 minutes, done. You know?
So you mean like mulligans?
No. I mean, like, so round timer hits zero, right? Normally, whoever's turn it is, they have X amount of time to
Oh,
like,
okay, I did hear that. Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
goes
yeah, yeah.
until they pass turn. You're saying it's 20 minutes, and then you
Yeah,
draw.
now it's down to 20 minutes because people were getting into, they were basically doing the sandbag flash effect thing. And they were like, well, we can hold up the entire tournament for 85 minutes because we can all try and win on this other person's turn zero, right? Now the
Mm.
rules have changed so that you have 20 minutes. And if your 20 minutes are done, sucks to suck. Like,
So
game's over. It's a
20
draw.
minutes. So zero. Hey guys, there's 20 minutes
Yep.
left in the round, pretty much, and then when that hits
Yep.
zero, it's draw.
Yep.
What if
Yep.
there's a stack? What if I have fast work on the stack and they're talking about something and then we get out
So
of
that's when you
time?
need to call a judge over for slow play because slow play, stalling, etc. Right? So stalling, and this is where a lot of people get confused about these rulings.
Mhm.
Stalling is a thing that people can do to specifically take up time without the intent of actually progressing the state of the game. If you are caught stalling, like everyone can try and stall. If you are caught stalling, that is an instant DQ from the tournament.
Mm. But throughout
So
the
this is
game,
one of
that
those things.
happens. Like, hey man, show me your hand. I won't do this. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when
and
you're in
right.
time, you're 20 minutes. That's probably when it's got to be like, we can't do
You
that at
gotta be
all.
it together. Yeah,
But
exactly. I mean, you do have the ability to talk to other opponents. You have the ability to show people things, right? But
right,
if people are
in a
taking
timely
game
manner.
actions to right, exactly. There's going to be judges watching. There's going to be calls for slow play, et cetera, right?
Yeah, yeah. At the Eisenberg, I watched the end of the top 16 match with
Yep.
Waffle, and what's his name, and then I watched the
Gold Saber. Yep. Yep.
yep, and then I watched the finals, and then I watched I think one of your games,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I noticed in the top, was it the top? Yeah, it was the top 16, and granted it's not timed, but it
Yeah.
got, I think that was like a 3 or 4 hour game, and Baldy
Four and
was
a half
literally,
hours. Yeah.
yeah, Baldy was literally sitting there, and Saber was just like, all right, let me think, and he's like, I need action. He's like, okay,
Yep.
action, action, action. What do I think? What do I do here? And it's like there's a lot of shit going on in his
Yep.
brain, and it's not really a time round, but Baldy
Yeah.
wants to, hey man, we don't want to
No,
be
I
here
mean,
till
yeah.
5 a.m.
You can still get a slow play warning in the finals. You can still get a
Can you?
slow play warning in the semifinals. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, gets real messy if people keep taking advantage of it too.
Right.
DQing a player from the finals feels real bad. I've never seen
Can
it,
you
but
imagine?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
the finals?
it would
Yeah.
get vaguely ugly to say the least.
Yeah. It's just funny. I saw the four
Yeah.
hour game there,
Mhm,
and then
mhm.
you watch the finals, and it was like 10
20
minutes.
seconds. Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
took
Like,
longer mulligans. I watched the whole thing. They took
yeah.
longer mulligans, chit chatting, getting a Red Bull, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, 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 blah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I have this, and this. I'll flip cannon, do a whole breaker horror. I win. And they're like,
Yep.
all right, fuck.
Yeah, yeah, literally. That clean and easy, Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, so yeah, Panoptic Mirror. So I did want to
Mhm.
talk about it just a little bit.
Yeah.
My buddy, he has a Urza deck. He's a Urza
Yeah.
diehard, and he says this is really easy to play because he's already on Misha's workshop. He's
Mhm.
already on stuff like that. He can break it somehow, and he's on a couple extra turns. So I feel like Urza, and there's maybe two or three more. I don't, maybe Narset, the 6-mana
Yeah.
Narset plays it. Maybe 2 to 5 decks. But like, what do you think about Panoptic Mirror? Do you think we can break it somehow, or do you think it's just fine?
I think, well, yes, it is just fine. Like, I definitely don't think it's like super busted. It's just one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like it is kind of cool that because one of the rulings on it confirmed this is that you can respond to the panoptic trigger on your upkeep and then imprint something in response, right?
Yeah,
Which is
that's
kind of
how. That's the whole point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because you
And so like
cast it in your
yeah,
upkeep, you
yeah.
in response, blah blah blah, and then
Yeah.
time
I
warp.
think it's just one of those cards that, like, if your opponent ever casts it, you have to blow it up instantly is kinda like the vibe with that card. But at the same time, like, you
Yeah,
put a fucking time walk under it and you still have to resolve the time walk. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it still sucks kinda. I think
Well,
the card is,
right.
like, extremely mediocre, but it's fun, right? Like, I could see someone
Yeah.
building a deck around it because it's a cool card, you know?
For I think
I
for casual, I
yeah.
would love to build a deck around this
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
stupid, like, it's fun,
Yeah,
right? Like, you don't even have to put a time walk under it, you can just put a DT under it, and it's like, "Oh, cool, I could get whatever I want every turn," right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and that's the only reason why I think it's even slightly playable is, like, because you can do that part,
Hmm. Well,
and even then, it's still
and
like
you can imprint other things, right?
mhm.
You can like
Yeah.
imprint of this, and then the next turn, okay, I did find my
Yes,
extra
yes,
turn. I'll
yes,
imprint this.
yeah,
So I feel like what we're just talking about. I feel like for casual CDH tables,
yeah,
like why not? Like, hey man,
yeah,
my whatever extra turn deck wants to play this. Like,
yeah,
cool, that's awesome.
yeah.
But for tournaments, I really have to see this. But you
Sure,
got
sure.
what's 5 mana pass.
Yeah,
Hopefully it resolves. Hopefully
yeah,
it goes around, and then on my
yeah.
upkeep, I'm casting this extra turn, and then there's a lot of hoops to jump through. So I definitely see what you're saying, but I
There's
do
it's
like the
like
levels of it. It's not busted.
yeah,
It's not garbage like Sway the
yeah,
Stars, but it's
yeah.
definitely very niche, and I love that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it reminds me a lot of, like, with decks that like want to cheat it in, right? Like it would be kind of the idea, right? Like something like an Arkham Dags and like end step, you can be like, all right, cool, like grab up an optic off my ornithopter or whatever, like
Right,
that
right.
kind of thing. I could see like maybe, but even then, it does feel like pretty far fetched.
Yeah, I feel like it have to be like in step, instant speed, cheat this into
Yeah,
play, upkeep,
yeah,
in like also they're well extra turns they just win the game, and I'm like,
yeah.
guys, you have to understand what top 20 CDH deck plays extra turn effects, right? So if your deck's
All.
if your deck like maybe Narset, like that one
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
Jacob's really good with it, but like
yeah,
if your deck's already on a friend strategy, this
yeah.
card doesn't make that friend strategy over the hill.
Agreed, agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
I literally thought of Narset and maybe Urza, and I'm like, who else plays extra turns? I can't
Hmm.
think of any. I can't
Yeah, I
think
agree.
like good deck, but I feel like the brewers like you that might find a
Mhm.
crazy artifact deck because it is a post
Yeah,
unbanned dockside meta. Like,
yeah, yeah.
let's try it, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
think it's
definitely one of
very
those that
cute.
I'm definitely not ambitious on, but I would definitely be like, "Oh, I'll look at it maybe a little quizzically for 20 minutes and then move on when something new gets printed."
Right. If I ever build an artifact commander, I
Yeah, yeah,
will look at this for a second.
yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh,
And
yeah,
again, I go back to, isn't that the best thing about this unbanning? Like,
yes.
now we have that. We have 3 cards that we're
Yep,
probably never touching. We have a card
yep.
that, okay, cool. And then we have an inherently good CDH card. Like, that's exactly, if that's what they were going for, it feels like they were. I feel like that's what they wanted, and it's perfect. Gifts ungiven. The
Yeah.
reason why I really wanted to do this in the
Mhm,
first place, like me and you said, we're holding for the unbans. I knew nothing crazy. I was thinking maybe
mhm.
Prime Time was gonna get unbanned, but it didn't, and
I
I
was
was okay with it.
yeah,
That's about
yeah,
where I was. I'm like, I can see gifts, I can see Prime Time, but I feel like
yeah,
Gifts Ungiven is the perfect card they could unban because it's already a card in our format, a similar card in our format, and that card is fine, but in the right
mhm,
deck, it's busted.
yeah,
Like any 5 color, like it's busted in my Najila deck. It's
yep,
busted in maybe TNT, maybe Blue Farm, who knows.
mhm,
Jeskai decks are slamming this in. But
mhm,
literally, like, I want to talk about the top 3, 6, 9, the top 12 decks. Last
yeah,
month, just popularity. You got Blue
sure,
Farm. Some Blue Farm lists are probably going to play it.
yep.
The newer controller decks, probably not going to play it.
Oh, see, I think those are the ones that are gonna play it.
You think? Okay.
Yeah. I think the more controlling blue farm lists have always
The one
not
that
wanted to
sit
play
back.
ad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cut Adnos for this.
exactly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's
ones
their
that
other
aren't on
instances.
Necro.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Everyone
Okay.
who's bitched about Adnaz being kind of bad in blue farm, this is exactly what they're going to switch to. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I've already seen it from a couple lists already.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even like, people are like, oh my God, this makes Blue Farm the best. I'm like, fucking Voice of Victory makes Blue Farm way better than this card.
Yeah. Of course.
Like, what are you talking about? That card's slam dunk in Blue Farm. This is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I think when gifts came out and people were like, "Oh my god, it only makes the best deck better," and it's like, does it? Like, I genuinely, like, if I was playing Blue Farm tomorrow, I would not play gifts in it, legitimately. And
Okay.
and I'm not saying that you shouldn't play gifts in Blue Farm. I'm saying I would have to make significant deck building considerations to care about another big 4 mana instant in the deck that already kind of wants to keep its curve slim, because the whole point of blue farm is that you can be fast or slow, right? So then
Right.
specifically making the choice to be even clunkier and slower and take another 4 off the dome with your Nas is a choice you have to make, right? And so, like,
Well,
it's just another
yeah.
engine that exists.
I feel like there is a world, right? I feel like the Grixis Blue Farm list is doing pretty good, and then
Yeah.
the slower that one you just did a tournament breakdown last week. There's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
couple slower Blue Farms that did pretty
yeah,
good too, 2 top 16s. So
yeah.
I don't think it goes in the Grixis version, but in that version it probably
In
could.
the Esper variant, I think it does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
100%. And
Hmm.
that's fine. I don't think it makes Blue Farm that much better. Like,
No.
I feel like I still feel like it's Blue Farm, TT, Kennen, and everybody else. And Rock Thrash is coming up, right? But I just don't think it makes
Really?
it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so we got Blue Farm, Kennen. I don't
Yeah.
think Kennen plays it. What do you think?
I know some people are cooking. I,
Okay.
I don't I don't know that I would be one of those chefs. You know what I mean? Like,
You're like, I'll sit back and taste it and see what y'all come up with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they'd slide a soup around, down the table. I'll take a little sip, right? But
Yeah,
I
we're
don't know
gonna
that I'm
go.
gonna be ordering a chowder. Like,
Everyone takes the free appetizer, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? But I'm not filet mignon that shit. Hell no.
yeah,
Filet mignons.
yeah.
But
That's
that's
kind of where I'm
fine.
at.
We can think about it in Kennen, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fucking awesome. I couldn't
yeah,
like how upset I was in the banning. I'm just that as happy for the unbanning. I think
yeah,
everything
yeah,
they wanted to do hit. Right. So
yeah,
TNT, I feel like it's a slam dunk in TNT just because I'm on Tevish Thrasios. That's my main deck.
yeah.
And it does so many crazy fucking lines with Hazel. It's not even
Mm,
funny. I think
true.
Sultai and TNT, well, some TNTs don't even play Hazel, but just Sultai in general, if you're on
Mm,
Hazel's Brewmaster lines, like, holy shit. Like, you don't
yeah,
even need Savines. You just go Hazel, Druid, blah blah blah. You need this, blah blah blah. Oh, I have Hazel in my hand. I use now. You play Reanimate. Now you can play Eternal
yeah,
Witness.
yeah.
This for decks like that, and I think
Mhm.
TNT it's a slam dunk in it because it's in white.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really good. But again, like, they could just not play it, and
Mhm.
that's fine,
Yeah.
right?
I've seen some really cool Snapcaster Mage piles too, right? It's
Yeah.
like you do I think the Snapcaster pile that I've heard that's the cleanest is you go Snapcaster, Reanimate, Oracle Consult. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure it works exactly how I think it works. Which is like the cleanest, just 4 cards that just make it happen for, I think, 3 mana max always.
Yeah, because they're gonna give you the Reanimate because it's easier to
Yeah.
counter, and they're gonna give you the Snapcaster Mage, right?
Hmm. Yep.
It's just more mana, but
Yeah. Exactly.
mhm.
um
But now Reanimate's played. Now Snapcaster Mage is played. Like, that's
yeah, like,
awesome.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of players who are gonna be like, "Wait, Snapcaster Mage, I'm in."
Yeah,
Like,
well, I haven't seen that card in fucking 3 years. Like,
yeah. I
that's
don't think I
fucking
physically own a Snapcaster Mage. I might have bought one for a deck actually, like 4 years ago. I'm not gonna lie, because I
yeah.
was
I'd have to
playing
look
like
in
a
the
retard
binder.
on the build. Yeah,
I think he's in the binder. You go, oh, there he is. Hey, buddy.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but that's
I have a
awesome.
whole like tool crate full of cards that I'm pretty sure it's shoved in somewhere.
But at that point, you're like, do I really want to look for it? Like,
Yep,
ah,
that's
all right.
exactly where I'm at.
And that's awesome, right? And then we
Oh
got
yeah.
Rog Thras. I don't think Rog Thras plays it. The
Same
weird,
answer. Some builds, right? Like the deck is a breach deck, but like, and I would argue that you would play this before you would play Intuition in that deck, right? I think
yeah.
Intuition's kind of mid in
And that's what I
Rogfest.
wanted to talk about. I feel like if you're an
Mhm.
intuition deck, you play this, but not all
Yeah,
intuition decks. And especially if you're not in white, you have to
yeah.
look at this harder. I don't
I
know
think,
if it goes in
yeah,
Teamer. I don't know if it goes
yeah.
in Esper. I don't know if it goes in Naya because there's a lot of things that have to go right, but it could,
Yeah.
right?
Gifts costing one more and being more flexible is exactly how it should be, right? It is 1 mana more flexible, which means it's 1 mana more flexible in different decks, but that also means it's 1 mana more expensive, and decks have to question whether they're willing to pay
Right.
that. Basically.
Well, in
But
Simic and Teamer,
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
all they
exactly.
are
Exactly.
is mana.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You just which is why, like, those Kinnan chefs,
Cradle.
I'm like, you know what? Cook on, brother. Like have fun, like
Those Cradle decks, it's like, I don't give a shit. My Tevish
yeah.
Thasios deck, oh, darn, I have 6 Thralls and
Mhm.
Enduring
Mhm.
Vitality. Cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the amount of times I've looked at Kinnan pilots and been like, all right, yeah, this card is an exorbitant amount of mana, and you would never play it in any other deck, but you don't give a shit because you're a Kinnan, right? Like it
how many times did they go, Curse Totem got you, Kenny? And Kenny goes, oh, cool. Hardcast
constant.
Consecrated Sphinx?
Yep. Yep.
GG's. Yeah, I think you
Yep.
won a big tournament doing that. Like, okay.
It's been done before for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right.
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
got Magda, you got Sisse. Do you think, because you're a Sisse guy, do you think
Mhm.
this might cook in some Sisse lists?
Sisse cannot afford to be even more susceptible to opposition agent. Like it just can't. It's just like it's gotta stop somewhere, bro. Like it's gotta like we gotta fucking take a break.
I
You
didn't
know what
even
I
think of
mean?
that.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Activate Sisse, Oppo, gotcha, gifts and given.
yeah.
Counterspell, fuck.
Yeah,
I
like
forgot about that.
also at that point, right? Like you're 1 mana off of Sisse activation. Like why what's the point?
Okay.
Like yes, someone can fill in the answer of like, actually you cannot have Sisse out and fire out Kiss and given. Yeah, I get it, brother. Like I get it. But like
But
nah, it's
that's
not.
like going against the game plan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never played Sisse. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're playing some of the more hybrid builds, like I could see maybe, right, the Turbo Breach builds that are
Mhm.
like barely Sisse decks, sure, I get it, but like that's a very different deck to talk about.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's not even the same thing. And we got Eureka up here. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, what do you think? Not just Eureka, but like Demir. I can't think of any good lines with Demir. Maybe 4 counter
It's
spells. Maybe Thoracle
uh
Consult, Tainted Pact,
I
Reanimate.
mean
Like,
the one I talked about earlier, the Snapcaster lane, like line works, right? So like what I will say is like people were playing Doomsday in Yuriko specifically just because it was a one card combo
mm,
and because that deck has a hard time winning the game, right? So I can
mm,
see someone justifying as a Yuriko pilot playing the Gifts Ungiven pile that we just mentioned with the Oracle Snapcaster Reanimate for the same purpose. Now the problem is you have to play Snapcaster and Reanimate and Gifts Ungiven in a deck that does not give a flying fuck about any of those things, right?
well,
Like
Gifts and Given's 4. That's 4 damage.
yeah, yeah. It's so true.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, when like Winota, I've actually been thinking about Winota a lot because that fucking dragon is insane. The new white
Oh,
dragon.
Clarion Conqueror.
I have
Yeah.
it. I have it in my newer Fiend build, and that
Mhm.
card is the best stacks piece I've ever cast in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
so I think when I think of Eureka, I think of a Winota type
Mhm.
deck, and they're like, oh, doesn't
Yeah,
it go
yeah.
in Winota? I'm like, guys, there's only 100 slots. Winota would love to have 130 slots.
Yeah.
So like Eureka, like, does it fit those 3 extra cards? Probably
It's
not.
tough. It's a
Yeah.
tough question. Yeah.
And then I kind of want to talk about we got Rog Size after Eureka. Grixis in general. I have my Tevish Crom build.
Yeah.
So there's like no recursion. There might be Time Twister, maybe a Yogswell,
Yeah.
but that's always
Yep.
awkward. I don't What do you think about Grixis? I don't know.
So I shout out to Carmen, who someone I worked. He's a big Grixis Malcolm pilot,
Mhm.
and we worked on his deck right before tournament last weekend. He top 16 with it, and he was featuring the Gifts Ungiven pile that I kind of mentioned earlier, so the Oracle console one, but also hybrid Glinthorn pile for those. And I think
Oh,
for
okay.
Malcolm, I think it kind of cooks, and I think that
Okay.
pile ended up doing some pretty decent work. But I think like Rogsai, I can't really see the reason to run another 4 drop because the deck's already sort
Yeah.
of like has a ridiculously high curve for a Turbo Nos deck, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Right. But if it's a win con, Rog Size down. Right. But
yeah, yeah.
I
I
just,
mean, maybe it's better than their X worst tutor, like the Demonic Council or whatever the hell that how that
yeah.
nonsense is, right?
Demonic
Like
Council crap. Yeah.
yeah, or Grim Tutor or whatever, right? So I could see hypothetically it being in the room, but I would be skeptical to say the least. Yeah.
So maybe it would go in a deck like say Tivit, right? Tivit
Mhm.
probably doesn't run it, but Tivit does have a 1-card combo, and then they're white. So maybe there could be lines with, okay, Time Thief, Savine's Wreck, blah 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 blah. Maybe
Yeah.
if your commander has a 1-card combo like Glint Horn, Snapcaster Maze, blah blah blah, that might work in a sense. But like a Tevis
Yeah.
Crom deck or a Rockside deck, I couldn't think of a pile. Like maybe people might
Yeah.
find it, right? Maybe they just go, hey,
Maybe.
because
Maybe. Yeah.
like I instantly thought of Breach. We'll talk about
Yeah.
Just Guy in a second. Like,
Mhm.
oh my god, if you like Intuition, like my Najila deck, my Najila is more about beats, but I am on Adnaz. But
Yeah.
after like I played in a tournament and 3 rounds I won just because of Intuition. Oh, I kill you, I kill you. You counter my Derevi, you counter my Grim Hireling, you killed my Najila. What do I do now? Oh, I top deck this Intuition with my One Ring. Cool, I win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like in a 5-color shell like that, I feel like Gifts Ungiven is slam dunk.
Yeah, I think it can cook for sure. I think like what we're seeing from Najila in general too is that like you are moving away from caring about Adnaz because it's always been kind of bad in the deck. But I've been
Mm,
seeing a lot of like the beat down breach hybrid Najila lists. And I think it's like a no-brainer in those lists. Like
yeah.
comically easy to go like, oh yeah, absolutely. Why would I not do that? You know? Like
Yeah. Yeah. I think
very
I'm gonna cut Adnos for it for sure. Cause it's just
yeah.
like the games Adnos is good, and some games is like, ew, I'm on Adnos. So I can like cut the Nos,
Yeah.
add this, play Tarnished Citadel, play some of those stuff, and like make the list
Yeah.
cleaner. Cause like all this, the Stadium Headliner, Voice of Victory, all this crazy Najila stuff. It's not a top 10 deck, but it is a popular deck.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Derevi, that was the next one I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Bant. Do we have any Bant piles? Have you been cooking your Derevi?
Uh, the thing is with Derevi, and this is where I tend to differentiate from a lot of Derevi pilots.
Mm.
There are Derevi pilots who are willing to just slap 100 pieces of duct tape on a Derevi and call it a day, and it's like
Yeah.
it works. That's the crazy part. You know what I mean? Like
Derevi
it's
is busted. It's one of the best Magic cards
well,
ever.
yeah, it's absolutely busted. Yeah, yeah, no, no,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a stupid card, and I love it, and I love playing decks with it.
I love it.
And the thing is, like, yeah, you can probably play like because the thing with Derevi is always like we all know Derevi's busted, but Bant is like the
Ugh.
ankle weights holding it back, right?
Ugh.
And so I bet you could easily do a gifts pile, right? Like bright glass gear Hulk piles are like some of the best things you can be doing in Derevi, and that's all super cringe, right? But it's working for people, right? So like, can
Yeah.
Derevi make gifts work? Yeah, absolutely. Do I know how right now? No, because I don't want to put in the mental energy to play a bunch of bad cards, but like probably would work, you know? Like I'm not I have no doubt, you know?
Okay. Well, I know you played Derevi before. I didn't know if
Mhm,
you were already like,
mhm.
yeah, man, look at
Uh,
this.
yeah, the thing is with Derevi, like I like the clean Derevi. I like the secret commander Kinnan Derevi, right? Like the ones that just like it plays like a
Shorkai,
good band.
Kinnan. I love
Yeah,
Shorkai
yeah.
and Derevi. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
make a
Like I love
body. I'll
yeah,
untap it. I'll make another body. I'll hit you.
yeah,
Untap. Oh,
yeah.
so
No,
good.
I like playing all the band cards that allow you to draw a stupid amount of cards, and then you're like, oh, by the way, Derevi gives me a stupid amount of mana, and yeah, my win conditions are all trash, but it doesn't matter because I've got 30 cards in hand. Like GG's, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's yeah,
Chromatic Array and
yeah,
Fairy
yeah,
Mastermind is how I win
yeah,
the
yeah.
game. Get out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah, right, right. Like I tapped out for a 7-drop, but I'm also going to my second main phase, and now I have 15 mana. Like
Yeah.
Derevi, like.
Yeah. And I feel like
But
Derevi's a harder
yeah.
deck to pilot. So I think that's why.
Hmm.
I definitely,
Hmm.
me personally, I think it's top 10, 15 deck, but it's higher skill level, higher floor for
Skill
sure.
ceiling very high, very high.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
played
yeah.
that deck and I was just like, what the fuck? I got a fucking
Yeah.
Sisay in my hand, the white green one. I was
Oh,
just
some people
like,
cook so hard in that deck that like it feels like an Allah sometimes, where they're like, "Oh
dude.
yeah, you don't know the 26-step birthing pod line to get a bright glass and then untap it," and then I'm just like, "No, I don't know that line, and I
Yeah.
will never know that line. Actually, I'll figure it out on the go."
Yeah, I just hopped in the Rog Thras
Yeah,
Discord and I was like, all right, guys, I just built Rog Thras, the
yeah,
crazy cradle version. And I was like, all right,
yeah,
guys,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know this deck's busted. And there's a lot of people aren't on Breach. And I'm like, what's the main fucking win con? Because y'all don't even play Lightning Bolt. And they're like, oh, you don't know this win con? It's easy. It's blah, 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 infinite mana fairy mastermind. And I'm like, What? Can I just play fucking Lightning Bolt and do my Ewit loops? Like, can I just do that, guys?
Well, it's funny you bring this up, and this will be a small tangent, right? So I played Yoshi Thras last weekend, right? And I
Oh
think a
yeah.
lot of people get really like kind of hard for these like win conditionless decks, right?
Mhm.
And I noticed that a lot of the Yoshi Thras people, and it's basically the same type of idea of the Rock Thras. You play the Breeze Collars, it's a Turbo Cradle deck, etc.
Cradle.
Except for I'm just like, I kind of want a Voice of Victory and Silence, like that's kind of based, right? Like,
Right.
but a lot of people weren't playing Emil in the deck, right? Because they were just like, oh, you just win with like Breeze Caller or the Snap Eternal Witness line, something like that. And straight up, more than half of my wins were because I'm playing Emil in the deck specifically. Like I
Really?
would not have been able to go and do the Storm thing without playing Emil, right? And so I think some people are just so focused on like never playing any bad cards that sometimes the decks sort of just like walk into a wall that's super avoidable. It's like the people who would refuse to play Food Chain and Corvold. And I was like, you know how many wins I would get in that deck where I would just be like,
It's
all
just
right,
so
and now
easy.
Food Chain. And they were like, we were ready for you to Nas. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so, yeah. And so I would just play Emil and I play Blind Obedience. And then every time someone said, how do you win? I didn't have to take 20 minutes. I draw till I find Blind Obedience and I cast spells over and over again. And you're dead. And they're like, great.
In tournaments, how easy is that?
Yeah.
We'll play it out. It's like,
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah.
I have a
And that's the
30-minute
other thing is
turn.
I've
Yeah.
played so many tournaments that people will ask me to play it out. And you know what? I want to confidently go, all right, I'm going to offer you something quick in case you want to save time. Here's how I'm going to go through this process. If you're going to make me play it out, I love to storm. So thank you for
Oh,
giving me the
when I
opportunity
food
to do
chain a Tali and they tell me to play
yeah,
it out, and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, please.
sweet, run it
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and then you'll be like, boom, boom, boom. No, I never mind. No, 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 I'm playing it out,
And
and
we're
they
like, well,
scoop.
no, but you asked me to play it out. Like, I want to do the thing. Yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah.
love to, and you like get a gamble, and you know you win because you have like a whatever defense grid or whatever, and like you get a gamble. Oh, there you go, you just get your whatever, and I'm like, I'm getting a twin flame. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm flipping more. What are you talking about? Yeah, good times. That's so funny.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so before I let you go, get Derevi, we talk about Tibet.
Yep.
Oh yeah, one more deck I want to talk about, Glarb.
Please. Glurb. Yeah.
I
Good
know
old
you.
Glurbin.
I know you've been cooking on Glarb, and that's one of my favorite
Yeah.
fucking decks. And I got Sully on the pod a couple weeks ago.
Hell yeah.
There's gotta be a fucking gifts line in Glarb. There has to be. Someone's got to
I
figure this out.
yeah. I'm assuming there's my Glarb in particular is not really inclined to play that line, right? I
No.
think there's four permutations of Glarb going around right now for those who aren't in the know. There's
Mhm.
the version that I feel like I'm claiming. I'm the only one who really
Okay.
pushes really
The
hard, which
Bola
is like
Citadel.
Turbo Bowl is the Citadel, absolutely.
Oh god, that
And the
card.
people who play Citadel, but like definitely don't have it built the same psychotic way I do for sure.
Right. Yeah, but you're
There's
cooking with
Protein
it.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there's Protein Hulk Glarb, which
Yeah.
funny enough actually just won the tournament I played it last weekend. They did great. Um,
Oh.
there's what I call the critical EDH no win con Glarb, which is just the one that Logan won the Snowy Summit with, which
Yeah.
is just like literally just wins with Oracle Console and then just
Uh,
tries to grind the game
yeah.
out.
No
With
Doomsday. No
no
Bolas.
Doomsday, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then that's the last one, which is the Doomsday variant, right? So
Yeah.
like, I have a feeling the Doomsday version must love this. Like, it plays into the play patterns almost perfectly. I think the Protein Hulk version probably also loves Gifts Ungiven.
Man.
I'm assuming the mid range one will probably slot it in because like I think I'm probably actually the only version that doesn't really want it that bad
I was gonna
compared to the
say.
other. Yeah.
There's, yeah, I guess a Bola Citadel.
Doesn't help with it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
huh.
Because like Doomsday, oh yeah, they'll want to play Reanimate and Snapcaster Mage. Are you kidding me? The Hulk lines, yeah, they would want to play those things too, right? Because you get to go like multiple Hulk Reanimate pieces or just a cheap piece to cheat it in, right? Like it's super easy to break it from there, right? But yeah, I think the
Yeah.
Citadel variant, unfortunately, like you could get cute and do the whole like, oh, shifting woodlands, my Bolus Citadel, but it still doesn't fix anything, right? Like it's still
Right.
clunky as hell. So,
Right.
but I think there will definitely be Glarb decks that will be playing Gifts Ungiven for sure.
I feel like if
Without a doubt.
Thorkel is your main win line,
Yeah.
like I feel like you could think about it for sure. But like that deck's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Thorkel and Doomsday. Like
Mhm.
that's an easy pile in itself.
Yeah,
Thorkel,
exactly, literally.
Doomsday, we got Reanimate,
Yeah,
maybe Attain Pact, and then okay, we'll
yeah,
give you the Reanimate and
yeah.
whatever. Like I just feel like there's
Well,
so
yeah, because like
many.
you gush 2 cards down, you mill
Yeah.
into the you mill the Thoracle over, you play like Lotus Petal, reanimate the Oracle GGs, right? Like
Yeah. or you get a Yogswill. Like there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So how do you feel though? I don't know if I asked you this yet, but with Gifts Ungiven in
yeah.
general as a card, how do you don't think it's like inherently busted? It's not better than Ristic Study, but you still think it could be a good CDH card for a long time?
It's a tool in the toolkit, right? Like if anything, I'm glad for the decks we've been talking about today, right? Like the decks that maybe didn't have something, right? Like especially Jeskai decks, right? Like the
Oh
fact
yeah,
that
I
they
didn't even
now
talk about
have a
Jeskai.
second intuition effect, right? I think that's great. Good for the
Dude,
Jeskai decks. I think that's
dude.
awesome for
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
the Nar sets,
yeah,
the newer Nar set,
yeah.
Elsha.
Elsha, yep,
Oh
exactly.
my god, Elsha's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like, I think all of those decks needed some love,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you compare them to
100%.
other options, and then they're like, "Yeah, all right, guys, go sit in the corner." Like
Yeah. If Savines is one of your best cards in your deck, I feel like
Yeah.
Gifts is a slam dunk.
Yeah, exactly,
I
right?
agree.
Because Jeskai decks have been forced to be Turbo Breach decks for, like, the past couple years, and I think this is just a piece that at least allows them to be like, "Okay, but now you're a little more consistent while still being pigeonholed into this one archetype."
Right,
Right?
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because it was the tutors and it had the interaction, it had the card advantage, but it just
Mhm.
didn't have the win cons and the this. I
Yes.
feel like Gifts is another. It maybe doesn't put Jeskai over the hump, but now I
Yeah.
feel like someone can bring a Jeskai deck to a tournament. I'd be like, okay, cool. Like you got
Yeah.
Gifts, let's see it, let's run it.
Yeah, 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 exactly,
That's
exactly.
cool. Yeah, I'm glad we're kind of on the same page. I was like, I hope Ian just like get that dog shit gifts card out of my face.
No,
But
like if anything, my biggest like hill to die on with gifts was that like people who were like, "Oh my god, Blue Farm has a new awesome tool." I'm like, y'all take a Xanax, like, like fucking relax. It's
it's
not that big.
fine.
It
Yeah.
ain't that deep.
That deck isn't even looking for cards like that. That deck
Yeah,
just
yeah, that's
wants
what I'm
more
saying.
voice
Like,
of victories. Like,
yeah,
like what are
exactly.
you
Like
talking about?
they
They
want
j-
more ways to cheese a win out. Like they don't give a shit.
yeah. Oh, we're not gonna talk about voice of victory. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck. Ban Timna. Call it a day. Change the whole format.
Dude, I'm getting the pitch ready, man. I am. I'm thinking about doing a pitch for the big three. Take out Rog,
Yeah. I, I
Rog,
s-
Thrash, and Tymna.
I saw the names in the article who's in the new commander list. I know you got some strings in there.
No, I mean, yeah,
I know. I
I
just
have
was.
zero influence on those
No, I
conversations,
know.
realistically
Yeah, she'd be
speaking.
like, "Shut up, get out of here." You're like, "Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah,
unban Emrakul." All right, get out
yeah,
of my
yeah,
face. I want some sneak and show,
yeah,
please,
yeah.
please.
No,
Yeah, good times.
but yeah, no, legitimately, like, there's a big part of me that goes like, all right, cool. So we got 6 months. I might just sit down and make a PowerPoint that like goes over why we should ban Thrasios, Rograk, and Tymna, and just like see what happens. Probably get told to shut up, but that's okay.
Yeah, I definitely think Rog and Timna gotta go, and then
Yeah.
Thrasios decks like they're good. They're not
Oh, you have to understand,
maybe.
Thrasios is also one of my favorite cards of all time. And also, I think for that benefit of the format, if Rog and Tymna go, Thrasios becomes like one of the best things you can be doing at all times,
Yeah, but
right?
Thrasios what though? If they go away, right? I guess Thrasios and Kennen. I'll give you that.
I still think Thrasios Crom, Thrasios Yoshimaru, Thrasios Vile Smasher, right? Like these are all perfectly reasonable decks,
Well, I guess if
Like
those decks are gone, right? Teensy and
yes,
Blue
exactly.
Farm are gone. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. If
Right,
you ban
right.
the big three, then it's like Kennen, but now we all can fight Kennen for that spot.
Yes, yes, exactly. Kennen
Okay.
probably does become the best deck at that point, but it's also one of the hardest decks in the format. So a hard deck being one of the best decks is like fine,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the problem with Blue Farm is
yeah,
I'm not gonna say anybody can play Blue Farm, but like
yeah,
anybody can't play Kennen. Maybe like
yeah,
at casual tables, but in tournaments,
hmm
I don't care who you are. You're not
yeah,
accidentally winning a tournament with Kennen. Right? You're
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
oh, I got in the top 16 because I got all my good draws. No, that's not how
yeah,
that works. Blue Farm's like, I got Cavern Assault's name human. I'm here. Right? So with Kennen decks, that I
yeah,
accidentally did the endurance loop and did this and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
the Mirage Mirror loop. Like, no, you need to be a good pilot. But anyways, we'll end on that note. I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah,
You're a
absolutely,
busy
dude, absolutely.
guy. Congratulations. Tell Lou we said hi.
Thank you, thank you.
Enjoy the honeymoon, brother. Turn off your phone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm a fellow patron. We'll leave you alone. Tell him to fuck off. Just
For
delete
sure,
the
man.
channel, whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna delete the whole Patreon for a week. Yeah, yeah. See y'all later.
perfect. And then you go get ice cream, and you're like, oh, all right, shit, I need my patrons back.
Yeah. Like, ah, shit.
Sorry, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But did you want to plug your stuff?
Yeah, and y'all can find me many places at this point. I'm the background camera guy for Scry Babies. I have the co-host of the Mind Sculptors podcast, my own YouTube channel, Comedian MTG. I am the co-host of Dice and Daydreams, a TTRPG show.
I'm interested about that.
Yeah, all the things, many
Cool.
things. I have a link tree and all that shit, so y'all can find me there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it down below.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, our last
Done.
video went huge, and this one's. I think you did my pod when I had like 120 subs. Now I have like 1,600.
Hell
So,
yeah, dude.
so you're not talking to 10 people. Now you're actually talking to some people that might know you.
Hell yeah. Hell
I
yeah.
always remember you, Ian. I always remember.
Oh, thanks. Dude.
Having you and Wounded on just skyrocketed my channel.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
But all right, guys, that's another episode. That's Comedian. We'll probably see you the next bands. See you later, guys. Peace.
Peace.